Hello, minasan, Hikiyami Moriko des, and welcome to the Christmas stream. And Merry Christmas, I guess, right? Look, I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I improvised this stream, right? I'm just gonna put hopefully some royalty-free music under my voice this time, and I'm gonna just wish people Merry Christmas for like an hour, right? I don't have really anything to say in this stream. I had other streams planned, but as you know, thunderstorms are not nice with me lately, and I could not stream the Grand Blue Fest yesterday, and I'm not gonna stream the Grand Blue Fest today. But I can wish you all a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays and all of that. I know some people don't celebrate Christmas. I know some people don't like Christmas for whatever reason. That's okay. So, Happy Holidays, everyone. By the time you're reading this, I'm mostly likely asleep. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Han Solo. Thank you for coming to the stream. Have a nice sleep. I know time issues, like time zones. I mean, everyone has issues with time zones, and in some places it's already 24, I guess. Right here in the States it's 23, right? So not Christmas quite yet. What's up, Alts? Thank you for coming to the stream, and Merry Christmas, right? I'm just gonna be playing some Grand Blue Fantasy, really. Maybe some classic Christmas music here, because the not classic Christmas music, it's copyrighted. So, as you can see, the whole family is here, just having Merry Christmas. I'm gonna get some Kentucky Fried Chicken in a few hours, I guess. In like 2 or 3 hours, I'm gonna go get some Kentucky Fried Chicken, which is my Christmas food of choice. I only get Kentucky Fried Chicken once a year, and it's on Christmas Day, or like close to Christmas Day. Anyway, yeah, I don't know what to talk, so feel free to ask me questions or talk about something. So we have something to talk for about an hour, right? I think 1 hour is enough for me to wish everyone, my 3 viewers, Merry Christmas. We say Merry Christmas a lot, and it feels like it's losing the sense. But I think it's a really nice thing to say, like Merry Christmas. It's like have a merry day, have a happy day. Even if you're miserable the rest of the year, have a nice day today, and that should be enough, right? So you can look back and say, hey, I had a nice Christmas last year. Maybe I can have a nice Christmas this year. And you make it the whole year, right? When you feel sad, just think about having a nice Christmas with me next year, and you can make it out. Or with someone else, right? It doesn't have to be me. I had a great day yesterday at the Grand Blue Fest, right? It was really, really good. A lot of good things happened. A lot of bad things happened. Looking back, maybe it was not the best idea trying to stream an event that lasts for 8 hours, right? With multiple breaks. So, yeah. How is your day going, Moriko-sama? It's going decently, I guess. I mean, it's really going nice. I woke up really early today to get some things done because I wanted to have time to stream. And I will try to record some indie games or whatever thing it comes to my mind. Maybe it's not indie games because they take a lot of time. But I'm probably going to be uploading 2 more videos today. I don't know what the videos are going to be. I'm just going to make up something, right? So with this stream and another 2 videos, that's going to put me at 999 videos, right? I think that will give me 1 more video for 1000. And wait, that will put me at 98 or 99. I don't know. I'm gonna check, but I'm gonna upload videos today, as much videos as necessary to be on 999 videos. And I'm probably gonna be streaming the 1000 video special on the 26th or 27, depending on what happens, right? I don't control weather. So yeah, it's going nice. It's going nice. Let's see how lucky I get at the roulette today, right? It's the night of the holiday party. Wait, I'm gonna pause this and I'm gonna unpause this. This is some Christmas content. It's the night of the holiday party and the air is abuzz with activity. After putting the finishing touches on the food and decorations, Ladiva and the rest of the prep team beam as they look around the room. God damn it! I hate Ladiva. I'm sorry. I hate Festiva. It's not my cup of tea character wise. Look, I think it's better if I make the screen bigger. Give me a second. Where's the grand blue thingy? Here's the grand blue thingy. Wait, let me turn off the YouTube thingy. Yeah. Okay, I think you guys have a better view now of. Even if you want it or not, you have a better view of Ladiva here, right? Yeah. That's ridiculous. You can never make enough food for Christmas. There's not never enough stuff to eat in Christmas. Wait, let me put this. I'm kind of just messing up with the stream settings right now. It should be good in here, right? Yeah, okay, it's good. Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas, Rokwanyena. How are you doing? You might be right. Not only did we bake a cake, we cook up some chicken and prep for everyone's favorite dishes. You see, cake and chicken, it's the quintessential Christmas food. Yeah, Yaya is lovely. Don't you guys love Christmas? Yeah, I love Christmas. Yeah, it's so beautiful. I don't know if I would eat fried rice in Christmas. I eat fried rice like every other day, right? Maybe I don't want to eat fried rice for Christmas. Let me move the chat box a little bit to this side. Okay, yeah, that's much better. Doing all right. How about you guys? We're all doing all right. That's enough, right? We don't have to be good. We'll have to be all right. I'm just waiting for the Christmas spirit to kick in. This has been a really hard year, really stressful year. Even these past few weeks were really stressful for me. So I'm just trying to enjoy Christmas, just relax in Christmas. I don't have to do much work, so I can just get to relax. I want to play games. Maybe not record the games or stream the games, just play games on my own for a while. And yeah, let's see. Look at all these little girls, beautiful. Eating gingerbread and watching Moriko's stream. Life is good for the moment. Yeah, that's all you need. Man, I was talking about gingerbread. I don't know how to bake, but I know how to bake things if they come from a box or a pouch, right? So this morning I went to Walmart and I wanted to get this like little pouch of gingerbread like mixture for gingerbread cookies, and they were sold out. Depressing, right? I wanted gingerbread cookies and it was sold out. So I think that's the only like not nice thing that happened to me today, but it's not a big deal, right? I can get cookies like tomorrow maybe. Shut up, Ladiva. Whoops, everyone's hungry. Yaya hands a piece of candy to Camille's. This is so wholesome. I love it. A 5-year-old girl can make candies, and I cannot make candies. What in the I don't know what possessed the Grand Blue Fantasy developers to make a Christmas version of La Diva. It's of Festiva. It's a crime against humanity. Yeah, I'm busy with my wife. Excuse me. Wait, I'm back home? Yep, I'm back. Getting pressured by a real life project that I can't even do because the instructions aren't clear, and whoever I ask about doesn't. Welcome to real life. That's horrible. Why are you doing a real life project in Christmas? No one should be working on Christmas. I know there's a lot of people that work on Christmas. I was working this morning, right, Annie? But all right, have these files that don't even mention what you have to do. Also, you have a week. Go. Good luck. Look, you didn't hear this from me, but you can always just not do the thing. The government doesn't want to know this, but you can just not do things. La Diva flashes a smile at the returning crew members and retreats to the kitchen. You need it's a beautiful angel. Santa Claus. Did you guys know, like, Santa Claus, it's actually real, right? When people tell you Santa, it's not real, it's not truth. Here we go, fresh hot cocoa top with marshmallows. I mean, I could use some of that right now, but not from you. Thanks, La Diva. Look, I want to know, you guys drink hot cocoa, like hot chocolate? Where's my question? Ultimax.com, thank you for coming to the stream. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. How are you doing? Really? That's unheard of? I can't believe it. Yeah, you can just do it. You can just not do it, actually. What's the difference with asking directly, lol? I don't know. I just never used the Q&A option of this. It's like when you want to ask your subscribers things in YouTube, you can use like the Q&A or the poll options, and I never use the Q&A options, so I don't know. Let me just dismiss. Let me just end the Q&A, and let me add a poll. Let me ask something directly. It's me asking the real questions. Give me a second. There, I'm asking a real question now. Sorry. Of course Santa is real. I saw him leaving my house after falling off the bed in my sleep when I was 8. What? 8? That's kind of dangerous. I didn't even know YouTube had a Q&A thing. Yeah, it doesn't seem that helpful. You can just pin a comment with a question instead, right? It's not really a function. Santa loves coming to my room at night. Hey, that's maybe that's not Santa. Just be careful. Moriko and the expedition crew not in agreement, smiling as they rush to clean for the party. The party's tomorrow, guys. Tomorrow it's Christmas. I got one hot chocolate. Okay, we can just go and kill some monsters instead. Okay, I think that was all for the Christmas thingy here, so I'm just gonna put this back where it belongs. Here. Should be enough, right? And this can go back here, I guess. And we can respawn this. It's actually cold in here. It's been cold lately, so that's also nice. It actually rained yesterday. I think I mentioned it on the Discord server. It started raining yesterday with thunderstorms and everything, and after the rain, it got really cold. So let's put some music, right? Oh yeah, Christmas time. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I hope I don't get copyrighted. Can you believe it, guys? Christmas, just 2 days away. Wow, wow. What do you think is China's latest special move? Is a W or an L? I don't know what China's latest special move is. I really don't want to talk about political stuff in Christmas, so I will just ignore the question. But I would say it's an L because all China does, it's an L. But yeah, Christmas is in 2 days. Like, if you ask me, I will be like, oh, it's the year just started, right? I didn't do much this year, like, that I can remember. I just remember like working and then uploading some videos and streaming, and then the year ended. And it's confusing. Did you guys know they have to pay $40 for a baseball bat? It's really expensive. You know, that's a big problem with me. I spent all my money in other people, and I don't have enough money for myself at the end of the day. But what you gonna do, right? When you're an adult and a kid asks you for a gift, you have to give the kid a gift, right? It's something you have to do. It's your obligation to do it. Um. Oh boy, it's not for real today in here, which is a miracle, man. I have never. Well, not never. I have seen snow like 2 times in my life. Like only twice when I was a kid. And I haven't seen snow in like 25 years, I guess. It's kind of sad because I love snow. I love cold climate, right? So I wanted to move. I really want to move to a place where it snows. I know that people that live in places where it snows hate snow. But it seems like a nice thing to have, right? Snow. I prefer snow over like scalding hot sun. China's ban on gacha. Well, I mean, good for me now. Now gachas don't have to cater to China, right? But then again, I don't want to get political in a Christmas stream. Let's not talk about politics at the Christmas table. So yeah. Now it's kind of weird because I really like these Christmas songs. I don't know if you guys can hear the song at all. I really don't know. But it's just like classic old Christmas song from like 100 years ago, maybe more. I feel like Christmas songs today, they just are the same thing. They say like, all I want for Christmas, it's my lover, and I want candies, and I want gifts and happiness to the world. It's just the same words rearranged, right? So it's kind of weird. I've been enjoying a lot of Christmas events in Grand Blue Fantasy and in Nikke. And on Nikke, Blue Archive doesn't have Christmas events because I'm playing the global version, and it's less of politics and more of gaming industry's massive. I don't think it's a massive change on the gaming industry. It's China, right? It's just their deal. They always ban stuff and they just backtrack, and it doesn't really affect the world. It just affect people. it doesn't affect us as gamers. It's affect the companies, and honestly, I don't give a damn about the companies, right? They can just die for all I care. Uh, so we good, we good. As long as like the only country that really affects me that does things, it's the United States, right? And good old America, and I guess Japan, because like most of the games I like are made in Japan. So if Japan does something, that's worrying for me. Otherwise, I don't care, right? All I want for Christmas is sleep. Ooh, baby. I don't know how to sing. I know you guys I know, but I don't know how to sing. I don't like singing, so I don't know how to sing. I never practiced singing. Um, After all, gamers are fighting against loot box. Look, this is gonna be a controversial opinion, but I didn't mind loot boxes as long as they were free. And I don't think loot boxes are the problem. I think the problem is microtransactions and monetizations, right? Because I played Overwatch 1 when Overwatch 1 has like you pay like $60 for Overwatch 1 and the game had loot boxes, but you earn the loot boxes by playing the game, so it doesn't really matter if you didn't want to pay more, you just play the game and get stuff, right? And that was a cool system. The problem is now everyone wants a bunch of money and it's not about really loot boxes. Uh and when you say China's massive, it's I hate when people say that because it's a really big understatement. This is kind of weird conversation to have on Christmas, right? But China is not as massive as you may think. It's what they want you to believe. But it's the thing is, China is just big because China is just big because they want to. Everyone gives out all the resources to China, right? If companies stop giving resources to China, China is not big anymore. So what that means that China is not big. It's the companies giving things to China, right? So it's not really whatever happens in China doesn't affect us at the end of the day. It's not gonna happen. Like no one's gonna care about what except the Chinese people, obviously, right? Uh, and like honestly, if like China owns a company and China fails and that company fails, I don't give a fuck. I try to not support China companies. Uh, yeah, NetEase. I don't support NetEase. I don't support Riot Games, and I don't support like most things that have to do with China. That's when I stopped playing many gachas because they were like China based. Like Blue Archive is mostly Korean, Grand Blue Fantasy it's Japanese, and Nikkei it's I think also Korean and Japanese, right? And I know like most companies have like a percentage of China investment, right? But they are not Chinese companies, right? Um, Yeah, but I think that's really again. I think that's what people really don't understand about this. When you say China is big, do not dismiss like mobile markets in Asia, right? They are just big for themselves. If they stop getting stuff like you forget that most games have special versions or special editions for China because China censors everything. China has different like standards for games and stuff like that. So if they, it's like when people were worried because Hololive China closed, right? When Chinese people started getting mad at Hololive because they were using Vtubers to attack quote unquote China, and they removed Hololive China, people were like, "Oh no, Hololive is gonna die because a lot of Hololive fans are Chinese." And then they closed the Chinese brand, and Hololive is just fine because the only people that lose money when Chinese have a meltdown, it's Chinese people, right? And companies that are not relevant to anyone. So don't worry about it. It's really not gonna affect anything. And if it ever affects something, you can comment and tell me I was wrong, right? Feel free to tell me I was wrong when it happens, but it's not gonna happen. I have seen these things happen a lot, and really China doesn't hold any power over anything. It certainly doesn't hold any power over me right now, so yeah. You guys can play Grand Blue Fantasy, a Japanese game, which is really good, and you will be supporting a really nice Japanese company, right? Um, it also has a bunch of free currency, so you don't have to spend money on it. I've been playing this game for like 10 years now, and I have spent like $60 because I really wanted some skins, right? For my wife. And I actually got a music CD, so it's not like investing on gacha. I was investing on the CD. Um, Hololive and gaming are not. It's exactly the same thing. It's just a company that has this like that have investment in China. Like I would say like 40% of the viewers were Chinese in a certain moment, and then it was not. But it's just the same thing, man. I think people really overblown China, like for some reason, for some unforgettable reason. China is not relevant to anyone. China is just a country that it's imploding right now. Bro, how do you say that China doesn't hold power over any? It doesn't. It's a country that it's collapsing on itself, man. And like, China just has the power that people give them, right? And people can take that back whenever they want, right? There's a lot of companies that stop producing on China, that stop manufacturing, sorry, on China, and they are now like sending like manufacturers in like India and I think Mexico because it's cheaper and it's better done actually, right? So a lot of companies here in the USA are actually like sending things to be done in Mexico instead of China because it's actually cheaper and it's better quality than Chinese stuff. So they are losing things by the minute. And I would say that regardless of how many people are in China and how many people like how much money they spend in China, like you can just look at Hollywood, right? Hollywood are like wasting a lot of money trying to please the Chinese market, and Hollywood is going to crap because you might please that market, but it's irrelevant for the rest of the world. And if you don't please the rest of the world, you're gonna crash, right? I would say it's more important to please Japanese market and especially Korean market. I think the Koreans are very big right now in media, in games, in movies. Like I have been seeing a lot of Korean movies. It's really high quality movies. The Koreans have technology right now. I mean, Samsung is just huge over there, right? Some people call like Korea the Republic of Samsung or something like that, if I remember. So yeah, I will be more worried about Korea and Japan, right? Um, but yeah, don't you guys worry about. Trust me, trust me. I know this. Don't trust me, right? But uh, China is not relevant unless they decide to start a war. But like otherwise, they are not relevant for anything. Like just look at Blizzard. Blizzard step out from Chinese market, and the company is healing. Now that they don't have to please the Chinese market. I'm sorry, they are healing, and this turned into a really weird Christmas stream, right? I just wanted to talk about Christmas stuff, but it's okay. Thank you for coming and chatting with me, right? This is a free chat. We can have a free conversation. I forgot this was a free chat stream, so yeah, we can have any conversation you guys want. China, Korea, and Japan are not all of Asia, bro. I know, but it's the most relevant countries. I know Asia it's really really big, but it's the most relevant countries when we are talking about video games, to be specific. Well, I think Indonesia it's also kind of relevant, right? There's actually a lot of developers from Indonesia, right? Yeah. Now that I think about it, yeah, I have met a lot of developers from Indonesia, and I think Vtubers and gacha games are also kind of big there. So yeah, I would say that's another one to consider when we're talking about this kind of stuff. But yeah, I just hope next year it's better for video games because this year was honestly very lacking on. Like, if you ask people what good game came on 2023, they are just gonna say like Baldur's Gate and that's it because that's the only good game that came out this year. Uh, India are crying right. Yeah, I know India is huge both in land and in people, right? But the thing with what was the last relevant thing, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but what was the last relevant thing to come out of India in technology, right? In video games, in technology. I don't know. I can't think of anything. Like, sorry, excuse me, but I'm granted I'm not an expert in India, right? But I'm sure they're really hardworking people and a big country with a lot of wealth, but there's not a lot of relevant things coming out from there, right? They don't develop technology. They are not like innovating in any technology field, which probably I'm wrong. I'm talking about technology focused on media and games, right? Not on like, oh, they made this super cool scientific stuff. Not like we're talking about games here, right? Um, which is to say, some people forget that even if you have a lot of people, if the people in your country are poor, they are not gonna get things, right? So like a lot of people in China are just like barely holding on to their for dear life. So they're not gonna be getting gacha games and stuff like that anyway. So yeah, I don't think that's relevant. Yeah, they're not gonna be consumers, right? Anyway, which that being said, I think a lot of people, regardless of the country, are not in a place to be spending that much money right now, right? Which again, I could be wrong. I come from a very humble place, and I don't know a lot of wealthy people. So maybe wealthy people are actually spending a lot of money in like stuff. But look, my family and my friends that I know and other like indie VTubers I know, they are not like spending money unless they are making a lot of money. They are not spending a lot of money, right? And I think like with half of the population of the country more don't have money to be spending. Of course, everyone is spending right now because it's Christmas, right? But we're gonna regret it in a month or two, right? Which that being said, I'm having a lot of fun playing Grand Blue Versus, and I can wait to have enough money to get a capture card, so you guys can see me lose matches in Grand Blue Versus, and then play some good battle. That will be nice. But you guys will have to wait. Those things are expensive, okay? And it will take me a few months to get enough for the capture card. So yeah, I think I will be playing some like Santa Claus games. Well, one game today. The spendings are well reflected by gacha games' billions monthly profits. Yeah, but I don't know where you're seeing these statistics or like data for consumers, but it's well known that in 99% of gacha games, I would say, like, I don't know if all of them, uh, it's a small number of players, the whales, that spend the most money, right? I would say like 10% of the total player base of a gacha spend 80% of the income, right? So let's say, for just to put it in small numbers, if a gacha game has 100 players, 20 players are spending 80% of their money or like of the total earnings on the gacha, and 60% are spending 20%, and the other 20% it's free players, right? So it's not really about the amount of players in a gacha, it's just about the amount of whales in a gacha game, right? Recently they made an interview with some people at Riot Games. You can just search like interview with Riot Games developers and stuff like that, I don't know, on YouTube. And they do mention that in like most players of League of Legends, I know League of Legends is not a gacha, but it has monetization and season pass and shit like that, right? uh and about 10% of the total player base spends money on the game. And like 60% of the player base is actually free to play and have never spent money on the game. So it's actually like 10% of the player base maintaining the game alive for the other 80%, like 90% of the player base. But they need that player base, right? Because if you spend $200, and let me tell you this, in League of Legends, there's a $200 skin. If you spend $200 on a skin in a game, you need to brag about it to other players, right? And that's where like free to play players come in. Yeah, exactly. Free players are the foundation of gacha games. Yeah, but the foundation because they give playtime, not because they give money. Yeah, but we're talking about money here, buddy, not. So you're saying like if the whole Chinese market disappears, like 9,000 million, I don't know, free players are gonna disappear, but only like 200 whales are going to disappear, so it doesn't really affect the earnings of the game that much, just the player base. which is to say, it might be affect the game, right? But like, honestly, what games are gonna be affected? Like Genshin Impact games, which honestly are really terrible games, and I don't care about them. Well, everything Hoyoverse, right? I think it's trash. So if those games disappear, it's better for me, and I think it's better for the gaming industry. Right? And to be clear, I think if gacha games die, I think it's gonna be better for the gaming industry because they are terrible for the for the gaming industry. Look, as much as I love Grand Blue Fantasy, and I have spent, I guess, I don't know, like thousands of hours in this game. I don't know how many hours I have spent. I played this game every day for like at least 12 hours for the past 9 years, 10 years. But it's a. Do you know how many games I could have played in that time? Like how many different games I could have played? Oh man, yeah. Yeah, if anything, only good things are gonna come out from this. I'm sure of it. I've been enough in this world talking about games and seeing the industry change to know that it's only good things that are gonna. Hmm. Yeah, I'm thinking about things to say from a different topic. I think we exhausted this topic real quick. Joy to the world. Oh wait, that's not it, right? It's O Tannenbaum, yeah. Yeah, it's been 40 minutes, right? It's this stream is going really slowly. I don't know. What do you guys do for Christmas anyway? I want to know. Like I mentioned before, I usually just get a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken, and I watch some streamers like their Christmas streams because there are people like really stream like 8 9 hours on Christmas, and they're just talking with everyone about Christmas, and it's kind of nice to be part of like even if it's just for a moment to be part of like a family having Christmas. It's nice. I mean, if I could, I would spend Christmas with my family, but I cannot, right? So if you guys have the chance to spend Christmas with your family, I recommend doing it. You never know, like, when you're not gonna have the chance to spend Christmas with your family anymore. And it's something that you really might not think about it. I know when you're young, I don't know how old you guys are, I really don't care. When you're young, you don't think about it that much, right? It's like, oh, I have to go with my family to Christmas again. I hate everyone, it's so annoying, right? But when you grow old and look back at those times, it's nice to have spent time with your family on Christmas. Christmas, it's only once a year. Um, so just being with your family, having something to eat, it's enough to make it a nice day, right? Don't be like me. Don't spend your Christmas alone in your home, like eating chicken. I know it sounds amazing, like eating chicken and drinking and watching streamers, but it sounds also kind of depressing, right? So my point is just spend Christmas with your family while you can, and when you cannot, you can just spend Christmas by yourself having a nice day, right? So yeah, just spend Christmas doing something you enjoy, right? I think that's the end goal in here. So I usually spend the 24 drinking, and again, I don't condone drinking, but I spend the 24 drinking, and I just sleep through the 25 usually. But I was planning on streaming on the 25, but since I don't think anyone's gonna watch, I rather not waste my time streaming on the 25. And by the way, I finally decided on the topic of the 1000 video, and I was planning on doing something about indie games or stuff like that, but I decided to do a Nikke Smash or Pass tier list. So I'm gonna be rating all of the Nikkes in a stream. So if you don't like Nikke, it's too bad, but please come to the stream. It's gonna be my 1000 video. Can you guys believe I have done almost 1000 videos by now? That's about almost one video each day of for 3 years. Really amazing. I cannot say I'm proud of myself because I haven't like done anything nice with this channel. Sadly, it's 1 week before the year ends, and I didn't reach 500 subscribers, which is a shame. But hey, hopefully I can get it next year, right? Do you guys still decorate a Christmas tree? Of course, yeah. Actually, that's fun. It's funny that you mentioned that. Oh boy, I like to see a smash or pass of anything really. I have an old video if you want to watch it. I think it was a stream. It was a smash or pass of Digimon. It's probably around there in my channel. Yeah, I smash or pass Digimons. So funny that you mentioned about the decoration of the Christmas tree. I think that's it's one of my favorite Christmas activities. But last year I was really short on money since I just moved to a different house, and I couldn't get a Christmas tree, and I didn't have one of those plastic ones because, like, until a few years ago, I was still living with my mom, or I was living with someone else that already had a tree. So when I moved by myself, I didn't have a tree, and I had to spend like last Christmas without a tree, and it was kind of depressing because the house was really dark because I didn't have like lights. Um, the floor was wet because last year rain, and it ruined my floor and the windows and stuff like that. So I couldn't use last Christmas. I couldn't use two rooms of my house. I had no flooring. I was sleeping on the floor last Christmas. I didn't have a tree. I didn't have gifts. I didn't have Christmas like food. Last Christmas was really depressing. Like honestly, I think if I would have done something unthinkable, it would have been last Christmas. I was in a really rough time, like a really rough patch back then. And not to say I'm better right now, but I'm definitely better. Like I have floor in my house, my windows are fixed finally. I have a like a natural Christmas tree, a real Christmas tree. I know people like fakes. I like natural Christmas trees. It's a big one. It's really beautiful. It smells like a beautiful pine inside the house. And I have a little bit of Christmas food. So compared to last Christmas, I think I'm happy right now. And I did decorate the tree with. I don't have a lot of lights or decorations for the tree, but I did decorate it. It's sitting in my living room right now. Really nice. So yeah, I do decorate the tree. I think it's an important tradition. I don't know if other countries it's that important to do, right? Like in my household at least, I was the only one and that still wanted to decorate a tree. So I was wondering if that's a thing people do anymore. Yeah, well, at least here, my family always decorates. Right, my sisters have children, so they put the Christmas tree. My mom also puts like a small plastic Christmas tree every year, and well, I did put one this year too. So yeah, I think it's a nice tradition. I think it's not Christmas if you don't have a Christmas tree. I guess I wanted to just to do something together with my family. So I guess people still that live alone don't really have a reason. Yeah, it's true, but like I have a family. I have my dogs. I have my imaginary moto sister here and my wife near here. So yeah, it's I agree. It's a family activity. I agree that like decorating the tree it's a family activity, but I still wanted to do it right because if you're in a house in Christmas Day and there's no tree with lights, it's really depressing. And I think I have enough depression in my life, so I didn't want to be more depressed in Christmas than necessary. Um, so yeah, decorate the tree as much as you can for all the years you can do it. Right? We don't know if we're gonna be able to reach next Christmas or the next one after that, so it's important to appreciate those things. How about your Christmas game development? I canceled the development like 2 weeks ago because I realized I wasn't going to have time to finish the game, so I canceled the Christmas game. I'm working on a small game right now, which I'm gonna try to release at the end of next month. So like 6 weeks from now, 5 weeks from now. I mean, um, I didn't notice the music had ended. Um, so yeah, no Christmas game for me this time around. You know, that's the problem when you are trying to be a game developer and a VTuber and you have like a real job to attend. And you know, I hate that companies, instead of like, oh, it's Christmas, you guys can't relax. Companies are like, oh, it's gonna be Christmas, we have to finish all this work before Christmas. And they just like throw a bunch of work at you. And I've been really busy with work lately, so that's why I haven't been making videos and I haven't been making games. Um, I know, no one wants to hear about how busy I am. Believe me, I don't want to be busy either, but it's just a thing. Hopefully next year I can be a more successful VTuber, which in turn it's going to give me money that I can use to not work that much, and it's gonna give me more time to make more videos. But that's a wishful thinking for next year, right? So yeah, I think that's that decorating the tree. It's a nice Christmas activity, right? I think it's one of the pillars of Christmas. So what's a staple of Christmas? It's decorating the tree, the gifts, food, of course. Which reminds me, I know that Christmas food differs a lot from each country or like each culture, right? And I really wanted, like, I've been wanting for a long time to try different Christmas foods from different countries, but it's hard when you don't know anyone from that country or like you don't have access to that country's cuisine, right? Look, I'm gonna be honest. We have turkey at Thanksgivings, right? So I'm not a big fan of turkey on Christmas, and I don't like ham. So those are the two traditional Christmas foods in here, which I don't really enjoy in Christmas. So that's what I get Kentucky Fried Chicken, which is it's kind of silly, but it's actually like really popular in Japan. Like people in Japan get Kentucky Fried Chicken for Christmas, and I decided to adopt that because it sounds really cool and it's actually really delicious on Christmas. I don't know why. It's because it's cold and the chicken is warm and crunchy. But my Christmas food of choice is Kentucky Fried Chicken, right? Um, but there's a lot of different like there's a bunch of like Latino people around here, and Chinese people too, Koreans too, and I know they eat different things for Christmas. So it's actually nice to see all the different foods people eat for Christmas. So if you guys would like to leave a comment on the video or like on the chat about what you eat for Christmas, I'm really interested in that, and I wish I could try all the food. How to be a famous VTuber, make successful games, promote selfie in game. Now, how to make a successful game, however, yeah, that's a different story, right? I mean, if you want to make a successful game, you just have to make a game about incest, right? Did we learn anything about the coffin of like I forgot the name of the characters, Laylee and Daniel and Andy and Laylee? I don't know. Yeah, that game was really successful in a really short amount of time. Just add multiplayer, voice proximity, and yeah, just make a sample project in Unreal Engine, right? And how are these kind of games called? Vertical extraction shooter? Yeah, those things are really popular for some reason. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, bum, But that's the thing. If you ask me what I want to do, if I want to make a successful game or a game I like, I'd rather make a game I like. And that's why I don't have any money. I just like to do the things I like to do the way I like to do them, even if they are not popular or like anything. And honestly, just to be a popular VTuber, you just have to be a woman, more or less. Like that's half of the battle, being a woman, or like faking being a woman in the worst case scenario, right? Um, Fun game is hard. Fun game with friends, it's easier. Yeah, I think making a fun game that is multiplayer, it's easy because the fun comes from being with your friends, not from the game per se, right? So it's the players are doing half of the job right there. How to make a successful game? Make a quote unquote horror game, super short instant flip with Unity, and add a jump scare at the end. Yeah, and all the YouTubers are gonna play it, and everyone's gonna scream because oh, screamer, it's super scary, and you're gonna become viral, and everyone's gonna start donating to your Patreon, and you're gonna ruin the game industry even more. Profit. Don't forget to add bullshit task and a lot of stalling. And don't forget the notes. You have to add a note like with 20 paragraphs about like in this house it live a cult with a lot of typos, right? With a monster, and the monster kill people, and the people become children, and the children kill more children, and the children, I don't know, like, and just make something that doesn't make sense, and people are gonna love your game, right? Um, how to make a successful narrative game? Add depression as a main. Yeah, that's it. There's a lot of games about depression and okay, but how to make a successful RPG Maker game? Add a mentally ill girl that takes pills and goes to a different world to deal with the problems. I actually like that. I don't know what I'm saying it as it is a bad thing. I like those tropes and topics. I think the best games I have played are about mentally ill girls. I'm just collecting mentally ill girls at this point. Don't tell the FBI. Also add cute broken girls so you can say I can fix her. Hey, I love fixing girls. Shut up. Fixing girls, it's the best thing a man can do, even if it destroys you at the end. How to make a successful visual novel? Yanderes or corn? Oh man, yeah. Yeah, there's a bunch of visual novel with yanderes. I don't know. And it's the worst type of yandere, right? It's just the cringe yandere, not the cool, deep rooted yandere like my wife right here. It's not a yandere, but it's kind of the same. Winces is monicist. I'm gonna write all these tips down, and I'm gonna make a game about corn, incest, visual novel with yanderes, and mentally broken girls. Yeah, I'm gonna make a game about that, and I will see you guys in my mansion in Dubai or something like that when I become rich. Look, I really want to give something back to the channel this Christmas. Now we're talking about money. I wanted to get like a Steam game or like a Steam gift card, but and I wanted to make a raffle this Christmas, but sadly it was not possible. So I apologize. I don't have a gift for you guys. Uh, maybe next year, right? Maybe next year I can give something back. I'm sorry. I'm gonna drink something. Sorry. So yeah, maybe next year I can give something back to the viewers. This year was not possible. So your gift this year is my presence. The gift this year is that you still have a Hikiyami Moriko to watch. I don't know if I'm gonna be here next Christmas, right? So let's all celebrate the gift of me being here. Broken girls are best girls. I mean, if they're not broken, it might be good, but maybe it's because if we are both broken, we can fix each other with the pieces, right? Maybe we can never be complete alone because we are broken, but with the pieces of both people, we can make one complete being, right? So if I'm broken and my wife is broken and we come together, we can make one whole thing, and I think that's beautiful. Like, okay, just for fun, let me look. I'm gonna wait, give me a second. I'm gonna remove this filter. I'm gonna remove this blending mode, I mean. Okay, you can see my browser now. Let's see the most popular games on itch.io, right? You can see the most popular games are Ginger Dead Man. Ginger Deadman, right? And this game has a lot of the things that make games popular on itch.io, right? For starters, it has a stupid monster. Like it's a it has like low poly graphics or like a filter that makes everything seems pixelated. Uh, you can see it has like the classic. I hate that fucking filter. I wish people stop making games with that filter. It makes my head hurt, right? It has a stupid monster. It's topical with like Christmas, right? It's a topic that it's relevant right now, and you can see it's full of Let's Players playing the game because it's like, oh, I'm screaming, look at my face, look at my stupid face. I'm screaming because the game is terrifying. Shut the fuck up. I hate people. Look at the amount of let's plays in this game. It's fucking stupid because you know all of them are the same and you know the game is not even scary, but people are just gonna do it for the views, right? God damn it, I hate everyone. Merry Christmas. Uh there's too many cute mentally ill girls anyways. We as a collective society need girl failures, an absolute mess, and unreparable mess, yeah. If there is no girl messes to fix, what are we living for, right? Sadness and despair is the easy recipe for emotional attachment. Hey, that's exactly why it works, right? We have also Krampus on the Kirk wall, which is I'm betting it's the same kind of game. See, it's the same thing, but without the filter. Well, at least this one seems to have puzzles, right? So I think that's better. How to build a mobile suite Baba. Is this like the Baba? It's you, right? Okay, this is actually cool. I think this deserves to be a good game. How to build a snowman. So this is a game where we get to build a snowman, I guess. Okay, to be fair, this one looks cooler. I guess this one's a little bit better. But man, I cannot stand first-person games. It just gives me the vibe that it's the same thing as all the others. Santa it's home, unwrapping Christmas. Santa's present. It man, you cannot tell me. Look at the screenshots of the games. You cannot tell me all of these look like they look like the same thing, right? These three games are basically the same thing. I bet. I bet. Frosty the Snow Hitman. Okay, it looks the same as the other ones. Sleigh Bells. This one has the filter, but it's basically the same thing as the other ones. Tornook 2? What? Man, can there be a game in here that it's not a first person walking simulator Christmas related with a filter? Closing doors. The Shelf Watcher. Chimney Prowler. Scratching Melody. Okay, this looks different. The Three-Headed Santa, The Awakening. That's not Santa. Man, I wish I could play all these games like one after the other on stream. It would be nice. But it's not gonna happen. At least it's not gonna happen this Christmas. Let me blend this again. For research purposes, can I ask can I ask you a design question? Okay, yeah, sure. Go ahead. Feel free to ask a question. What are essentials in prolonging a game series with unknown IP? What do you mean by that? Like, what are things needed to create a game series and make it like a series of games with no recognizable characters? Okay, that's what you mean. Okay, In order to minimize sequel player counts fall off. Okay, so if you want to make a game with a you want to make a new IP, and when you make a sequel of that new IP, you want to retain the players. That's your question, right? If I'm understanding it right. At least Anatomy is still up there. That and the other games of the creator are really cool, short experiences. Wait, what's a horror game with a teenage girls being crushed by a vending machine, anyways? Hey, I love that scene. It really got me. That scene in that game really got me. I sometimes think about it. Like I think about that scene every now and then. Yes. Okay. How would you make that? I guess from what I know, you have to maintain, like, I think the main character is really important. If you get rid of your main character, uh like let's say you make a game, and you make a main character for that game, and you remove that main character that people loved for the sequel, I think that's gonna crash. Some examples I can give of this is people were really scared about the new God of War game because they thought they were gonna replace Kratos with the kid, right? Which that didn't happen, thankfully. In a shooter game for the PS3 that's called Resistance: Fall of Man, you play Sergeant's. What was the name of the character? Nathan Hale. Yeah, Nathan Hale, like the yeah. In the first and second game, and it became a really beloved character for the people that play the game. It was the main character, right? The story was about him. And for the third game of the series, granted, this was an original IP at the time, right? And for the third game of the series, they replaced the main character. They killed the main character at the end of the second game and replaced it with another character at the beginning of the third game. And that game was trash. And no one liked that game because you cannot remove something. It's like in The Last of Us, right? Everyone loved playing as Joel in the first game. I loved The Last of Us 1. It's actually one of my top 10 favorite games ever. And by the second game of The Last of Us, they killed Joel and replaced it with a much worse version of Ellie and that lesbian butch girl that was a terrible character. So, yeah, I think, like, advice number one, don't get rid of a popular character, especially if it's the main character, to keep the player base engaged. I'd say you have to change enough for the game to not feel the same as the first one, but you don't have to change that much because the game is not going to be recognizable, right? An example of this is recently Spider-Man 2 was released for the PS5, right? And I don't know if you guys play Spider-Man 1. It's a really popular game. People love that game. I have played Spider-Man 1. I'm actually doing a second playthrough right now in my free time. I think it's a good game. It's not perfect. It has a lot of flaws, I would say. It has a lot of boring parts, especially when you have to play as Mary Jane. The game is not perfect, but it's really, really fun, and it's a really complete game that has a lot of fun and value for your money, right? And for Spider-Man 2, it's a good game, yeah, but it feels like exactly the same thing as Spider-Man 1, so people didn't really like the game that much because it feels like playing the same thing. When you're making a sequel to a really popular game, I know Spider-Man has like a pre-existing IP, right? But it still holds true that you have to change enough for people to feel the game is fresh, right? Uh, Dilemma: grounded characters, power retention. That is, first game ended at level 100. Sequel started from level 1. What to do to make it grounded? You can take the Metroid route, right? In most Metroid games, Samus starts the game with all the gear and all the powers from the previous game, and then she kills everything. And at the beginning, at the end of the first mission in like Metroid Prime, for example, there's an accident at the space. I don't know, it's space station, I guess it is. And Samus falls to the ground of the planet, and she loses all of the power ups, right? So you start from the beginning, but it's included on the story, so it makes sense for you to lose all the power, and you're recovering all the powers that you lose, plus some extra things from the planet, right? So I think that's really great progression for like a character that has everything to lose everything and have to gain it back, but at the same time making different choices, right? Like for example, instead of getting like the big cannon bullet or something like that, you get the whip, right? So it's like, oh, she's stronger, but it's side stronger, so it's not the same thing. It feels new, but it still feels powerful, right? I think Metroid does a really good job resetting the power of the main character every game. Oh, hey, I remember seeing that question earlier today. What a coincidence. So yeah, I think the Metroid games do a really good job resetting the power of the main character. Another route you can take is put the main character in a different setting, right? For example, let's say I am a really powerful soldier that have a bunch of weapons and armor, and I killed everyone, right? And just to say something, just send me to hell. And now I have to fight demons instead of people. So I might have a strong armor and guns to defeat people, but I don't have a strong armor and weapons to defeat demons, right? So I have to upgrade my things to defeat demons. So I'm not weaker than I was in the previous game, but I have to get stronger because the setting around me changed. If you cannot change the main character like Metroid does, you can change the setting of the. Yeah, what if the game doesn't let you do that Metroid trope? Okay, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. If you cannot change the main character, you can change the setting, right? If you cannot make the player weaker, you make everything else like around him stronger. For like, oh, you move it to a different environment, or you add something else. Like there was a game that was called The Darkness, I think. That how do I say this so it makes sense in game development? You can put like a psychological limitant on the player, right? Like I don't know what kind of thing you're talking exactly, but I'm gonna make up an example here, right? Um, let's say my character can throw magic beams from their hand, right? Like, oh, I can throw a magical beam that destroys everything. Destroys everything, and I gained this beam at the end of the previous game because I defeated a dragon or something, right? And I can destroy everything, right? But now I discovered that using the beam kills me, so I have a limited amount of beams I can throw. Like you can make like psychological limitations or like physical limitations to the power the player the character has, right? I think that can work. Dilemma power creep, yeah. Sadly, power creep is something you have to deal with um, when making games. It's really dependent of the type of character and the type of game you're making. I'm just trying to give general advice since your question was like really open. Uh, you can also take, for example, games like the Tomb Raider games, right? Lara Croft Tomb Raider. Um, in those games, Lara is just a human being, right? She's a human, but she has like weapons. She learns abilities, right? Like, oh, I can smell animals, and I can craft bow and arrow, and I can make Molotov bombs, and I have these new shoes that let me jump higher. I'm just making up stuff, right? Uh, so at the end of the Lara Croft games, she goes back home and she starts a new expedition next game, right? So she starts from the beginning because she moves to a different environment. So she's not really power crept by anything. She's just moving to a different place that she doesn't know. You cannot be power crept if you don't know what you're dealing with, right? Like if you send your character to the unknown, he cannot prepare, so everything he has might not hold any value there. Details, vertical progression gets power creep, horizontal progression gets optical creep. New term, optical creep? What do you mean by optical creep? I'm kind of confused. What do you mean by vertical progression gets power creep? Like, if you keep upping the power of your character, eventually you have to power it down so it doesn't get out of scope, right? I guess that's what you mean by vertical progression, power creep. And horizontal progression gets option. Okay, it's not optical, it's option. It option creep. Yeah, I wasn't reading that properly. But option creep, it's like removing options. No, I think it's adding options. It's not a creep. It's a buff, right? I think it's like horizontal progression gets like option buff, right? The more options you have, the less limited you feel, I guess. But again, this is really dependent of the type of game we're talking about. Um, for example, you can take the Crash Bandicoot games, for example, right? Uh, in the Crash Bandicoot games, I think Crash only can like jump, spin to attack, and like get a power up that lets you not die in one hit. And you can like belly flop and double jump and slide. I think that's all the things Crash Bandicoot can do, right? And for like 5 games, those are the only abilities Crash Bandicoot has. Oh, like a Wumpa Fruit Bazooka, right later on the game. Uh, the thing is, if you don't properly make your character, if you don't properly design your character from the beginning, you're gonna be facing a lot of problems with power creep and progression later, right? So it's not something you can fix along the road. You need a strong foundation for your character, so you don't have to face these problems in the future, right? Reminder at the start of the game. Yeah, at the start of the game of a sequel, right? Because if you're telling me the character has powers from a previous game, so if you make a sequel, um, it's the start of the second game. Important note: this is a very important problem. Bottleneck to me. Helping a breakthrough is helping. A breakthrough is very much appreciated. Okay. Yeah, you're telling me it's at the beginning of the game, but a sequel, right? So you have to consider the previous game still, right? Uh, so yeah, I think you have to have a very good foundation for your character and for the abilities to not face these problems in the future. But eventually, like you have to think about games that have like 10 sequels, right? And pretty much they have to reset the character each time because if the character retain the power level, it will be impossible to balance the game around it. Uh, I think you can see this not only in games but also in like movies and anime and stuff like that. I don't really like Dragon Ball because everything is just like power levels to the extreme and it doesn't really make sense anymore. But I think power creep is something you cannot evade in most type of games, unless obviously you kill the main character. But that's something I don't recommend doing. Killing the main character, even if you have something to replace it with, it's never gonna work because people get attached to characters, as mentioned before. Uh, like not only in games, right? You can see it in movies, like when they kill Iron Man and all of those heroes in Marvel movies. I'm not a Marvel movie fan, but they replace them with other heroes, and it just doesn't work because people just love the main Avengers so much, right? Um, we can go back in time. I don't know if you guys were alive or remember um when the Devil May Cry series tried to replace Dante as the main character. You guys remember DMC, the original DMC, when people when Capcom tried to replace Dante and man, it didn't work. And it's not because it was a bad character. It's just because when you say Devil May Cry, you think about Dante, right? Not you don't think about anything else. Well, maybe Virgil, right? But uh, yes, previous games will still be considered. I'm stuck with how this to reset it lore wise. Lore wise. Okay, that's more complex because it depends on the lore, right? And I don't know any of the lore of or of that specific game. Um, it will be there's ways to do it, right? Because again, you can change the environment lore wise. Um, for example, I would say like just to give an example, if it was a game with technology based powers, um, you can just make like, oh, there was an EMP and technology doesn't work anymore. Your technology doesn't work anymore, right? Uh, Stuff like that that not only affects the main character but affects the whole world, right? Oh, an asteroid fell from the sky and from the space and it landed on the planet and it's giving off radiation that it's messing up with your powers, for example, right? I don't know. Like you can make someone trick the main character into losing the abilities, the powers. Um, there was a game. I don't remember what game was that the main character is like really really overpowered for the sequel. It was for the PS1. I'm trying to remember the name. And at the beginning of the game, a little girl comes and it's like, "Oh, hero, I need your help." And the hero is like, "Of course I'm gonna help you, little girl. What do you need?" And he goes to help the girl, and the girl is actually a witch. And she tricks the player into giving her all the power he collected through the previous game. So you have to start that game trying to catch up to the witch, but you need to get new powers, and you get different powers to recover your previous powers. So at the end of the second game, you get all your original powers back plus the ones you got in that game, and it's really nice progression. And I don't know what they did for the third game. I don't know if there's a third game in that series, but it's really good progression. Um, is changing the main character an option? If yes, you could make the main character of the previous game a side character, member party with all the equipment and power retain. Worthy to be heavy okay, yeah, that's good, right? You don't have to remove the main character from the game. You can just make it a side character now, like a sort of like sensei, right? Like you can teach me how to deal with this new problem that I'm facing because you faced it previously, like the Karate Kid, right? I think that's a really good example. You can give the player a Miyagi, right? So the character they like, it's still on the game, and they have time to. I think that's what like God of War is doing with Kratos and Atreus, right? They are giving Kratos and Atreus a few games together, and eventually, when they decide to retire Kratos, that I hope it never happens, people will have time to be accustomed to the kid, right? But yeah, getting rid of a beloved character, it's not easy. Like imagine a Hello Charlotte game with not Charlotte Wilshire, right? That would be really weird. I mean, I guess technically the visual novel game it's without Charlotte, right? But you know what I'm talking about. There's also a lot of people that love a setting you can make where you make the main character of the previous game the antagonist of the sequel. So because he's so strong, right? He became so strong at the beginning of the first game that you make it the antagonist and you make a new character in the opposing spectrum of the moral dilemma or fight or whatever, and you make it fight the main character of the first game, right? So all that instead of power creeping, now you have to like power back to where you did the previous game to have a chance to win. That's also an option. Um, then again, it depends on the main character itself. Although I think maybe not that it's not possible because the main character is player exclusive, at least for now. This became a really interesting. I'm glad I made this Christmas stream. We're talking about development. It's nice. I'm trying to think of other games like. There's that game Code Vein, right? I really like that game. Code Vein is a really good game, and I think at the end of that game you become the antagonist, and it doesn't have a sequel yet. But if the game has a sequel, you're probably gonna be the villain of the next one, depending on the ending you get, of course. Um, this is whether can of MC it's MC versus MC it's player. Okay, that's really important, right? Okay, so in this example you're giving, the main character it's a character you make. It's not a predefined character, right? It's a player made protagonist of the first game. Okay, yeah, that makes things a little bit more complicated. Um, I'm trying to make this work. I mean, there's a lot of cheap tricks you can pull to make it work, right? Like, oh, an unknown force captured the main character of the last game and kill him and stole the powers. and now it's not the main character, but it's someone with the powers of the main character, but it looks different, so it doesn't affect the player made character, and it's you're not fighting that character, right? Hmm. Hmm. It's really complicated, but it's a good topic to think about, right? Ba-ba-bum-bum, ba-ba-bum-bum. Time gap. The MC is a character the player is always tricky and quite the curious subject. If all else fails, time gap solution works. Yeah, it's just you will just have to time gap it. That never fails. Although it makes things quite tricky. Because if you're gonna make like a sequel to the sequel, that it's gonna get tricky. So you might be solving the problem today, but you're like making a problem for tomorrow. I guess that's a trick a lot of people use, not only in games but also in like manga and stuff like that. When they get stuck and they don't know how to progress character development, they just make a time skip and explain things later. When you do something good in a game, you think, I did a good job. When you do something bad in a game, you think, how could MC do this? Oh yeah. That's something I don't like about certain games, right? When you're trying to be a good guy in the game and the MC does something that you will not do, but it's part of the story, so you have to do it forcefully, and it feels bad. I think Nier Automata it's an excellent example of a game that lets you have your own moral compass regardless of anything of the story. And when you finish the story, you feel like you actually play the whole thing with your decisions. It feels really nice. Even if the end is it's the same. Which I have to mention, Grand Blue Fantasy is gonna have a collaboration with Nier Automata, so that's two of my favorite gacha games having a collaboration with Nier Automata. It's really good. There's a name for that, chief blaming. More at merit, less at fault. Yeah. Bum, 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 bum. Well, would you look at that? It's been more than an hour. I forgot to check the clock. It's been more than an hour. So I think overall this was a nice Christmas stream. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for talking about games in here or whatever you wanted to talk. It's a free talk game chat, right? If you guys like this free chat streams, I could make more. Like I can just open the stream and we can talk about anything you guys want and have a nice like forum conversation. It will be nice. So if you guys like this stream, don't forget to drop a like so I know you guys. Or you can tell me if you don't want to drop a like, you can just tell me on the comments or on the Discord server, right? You don't have to drop a like if you don't want to. Because sometimes I struggle to know what kind of content I want to make because there's a lot of things I want to do, but I don't know if you guys are gonna like it. I make the Nika streams regardless because even if no one watches because it's fun for me. Um, hmm. But yeah, I think in about 10 minutes it will be time to finish this stream. I think that's usually that it's something really interesting because that will explain why you can make a good sequel, but it's really hard to make a third entry in a series, right? Like in movies, in games, the third games are actually not that good as the first or the second one. Because when you make the second game, you make a lot of concessions to make the second story work with the first one. So by the time you have to make the third one, there's a lot of things you have to keep in mind, and they never work. So actually, you can search like any game series, and it's like the first game is good, the second one is good, the third one sucks, and usually by the fourth game they like retcon everything or just start new, and the game is good again. Except Metal Gear Solid, all of those games are good. Actually, I would say Metal Gear Solid 3 is the the best one in the series. But you can tell, like, as much as I love Silent Hill, you can take that as an example. Silent Hill 1 is really good. The second one it's even better, and the third, but they are not the same story, right? Technically, Silent Hill 3 would be Silent Hill 2 story wise, but you get what I'm saying. Honestly, I'm all for research on design, game design, and narrative design, so I like the stream if it's about design. So if there's a research data, then I like it. Yeah, that's nice. We can make some of those later down the line. I have a lot of things planned for next year, but again, it's not in my hands, right? The amount of streams I can make and the amount of effort I can put into streams, it's dependent on the people watching them and the people supporting me, right? Because it's hard for me to do these things if I'm not getting the support, and I'm not trying to like shame people into liking me or following me or liking the videos. It's not my cup of tea, right? Again, I always tell you, you're free to dislike the video, you're free to not watch the video, right? I don't want to force anyone to be here, but at the same time, I need the support to keep going, right? It's not that, oh, I need it to feel good. No, it's if I don't have the support, it makes little sense to keep going, right? So as long as you guys watch, I keep making. That's the symbiotic relationship of this kind of line of work, I would say. I love Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Yeah, it's hopefully the remake it's good. I don't have a lot of faith since Kojima is not gonna be there anymore. Or just have surgery to retcon you losing your hearing in the previous game. Oh man, that really that one actually kind of bothered me in a house for Alessa. Okay, yeah, it kind of bothered me, but I'm gonna give this to the in defense of Axel Villardoso. A House for Alessa has multiple endings. So to make sequels for games with multiple endings, it's really hard, right? Because you have to choose one ending to make it canon, and even then, you want to make changes, right? Because when you leave it open ended, like multiple endings, it's hard to choose what parts you want to actually take for the sequel. Because maybe at the moment, if I remember correctly, he mentioned at the moment he wasn't thinking about a sequel, and then he did, and then he'd think of another sequel, right? But yeah, it's if you're gonna make a sequel, maybe don't make multiple endings, right? But I do love multiple endings, so I'm kind of biased towards actually having multiple endings. Redcon is writer's drug dealer. That's a way of putting it, all right. But you have to be careful with what drugs you get, right? I'm trying to think of a instance of retconning actually being positive. 'Cause actually, when you retcon something, it just leaves a bad taste on. I don't know if you guys read comics, but in DC Comics, actually, there's a bunch of retconning. Like every few years, they reset the timeline of the comics and they retcon a lot of character deaths, a lot of character changes and stuff like that. And to be honest, as a fan of comics that I am, every 5 years, a lot of things are gonna get reset, so it's hard to get invested in the characters when you know they're gonna change in a few years, right? Um, my secret sauce on game design, it's multiple endings. Wait, my secret sign on game design with multiple endings. Ba, ba-da, ba, ba-dum, bum. Just keep your secret sauce secret, right? Because if it's not secret anymore, maybe it's not gonna be good anymore. So we'll have to play it to see it, right? That's a way to engage people. Just let them play the game. Imagine not having all your game endings canon because the world is a huge loop. Um, and the beings meant to make sure nothing differs are doing a good job shaking my head. Shaking your head, for sure. Are you talking about the legendary quantum ending? All the endings are canon, but none is canon. Everyone is super like positioned over the other. Uh, actually, there's a game like that, right? Like I'm gonna ask, and I think I know the answer, but I'm gonna ask anyway. Do you have you guys played Corpse Party? Have you played that game? Do you know anything about Corpse Party? Like, I want to ask. Because in Corpse Party, all the endings and all the games are canon, and at the same time, they are not, and at the same time, they are canon again. So I think if we can learn something about retconning and multiple endings being canon, we can learn it from the mess that it's the timeline of Corpse Party, right? Oh man, Corpse Party is such a mess of game series because technically the game has like three sequels, but all the games are the same game, but all the games are in a different timeline, but it's the same timeline, but all the endings are canon, except only one part of certain endings are canon for the true canon of the true ending of the true game. I watched the Corpse Party anime. I think, yeah, the anime it's not good to learn the. I'm sure, I'm sure somewhere because people do these kind of things, right? Somewhere here on YouTube, there's gonna be a video explaining the timeline of all the games of Corpse Party. I'm sure you guys can search. You can use the search bar. And you can see if you want to learn about messy endings and how to retcon things poorly, like you're gonna learn how not to do things. You're not gonna learn how to do it properly. You're gonna learn how not to do it. You can watch like a video like, oh, Corpse Party all endings explained or the story of game of Corpse Party game explained or something like that, right? I'm sure someone made that video. It's an old game and people love to make video essays about the stupid shit, right? So someone made that video. Go watch it. If you want to play the games, it's fun, but it's a hell. Uh, I need to flow my ideas of narrative details, but I can't because of spoilers. It's okay. You can maybe find a way to share them without spoiling, but we can keep a secret. Maybe not. Um. So yeah. As far as I remember, I think Corpse Party has like 5, 6 games, not counting Corpse Party 2 that it's not a real thing because it was like a really short chapter one that doesn't have to do anything with Corpse Party 1. I watched a video essay about the Corpse Party games, but I forgot. It's for the better. It's for the better. Yeah. It's for no. You don't want to remember that. It's horrible. It's horrible. So just to make a quick recap of what I know of Corpse Party, right? I was a huge fan once. That game started as a Japan only game for a contest of a magazine, I think, and it won second place. It didn't even won first place, and it was made in the first iteration of what we know today as RPG Maker. So it was the precursor of all RPG Maker games. Like all the other RPG Maker games up to date are at least based or inspired on Corpse Party. Uh, it was a really bad game. It was really poorly done, and the technology of the time didn't allow it to do much, right? Then later it was made into a full game that was also not really good and was kind of incomplete, and the story was revamped because the first game didn't really have any story. And they make a sequel slash remake of the second game that was a more complete edition, and then they actually made a sequel, which it was a sequel both to the first game and to the second remake that are different things but the same thing at the same time. And they make a two spin-off games that are actually canon, and one is not even a horror game. And then they made a third remake slash sequel slash prequel that retconned everything and made everything canon. And that's as far as I know, but it's such a mess. You're gonna enjoy seeing the full story, I'm sure. Details, my ending is only one, but actually is practically infinite endings, but actually has no ending, but actually is a loop. But actually it's a linear time. It sounds a lot like Corpse Party, to be honest. It sounds like the Corpse Party ending. You have to be careful with that kind of things because a lot of people don't like it. I mean, if you like it and you're the developer, that's all that matters, right? You don't have to feed the tastes of the players. Logical endings are overrated, anyways. Yeah, who wants a linear ending? You guys remember the curse ending from Curse of the NTR Nun? Yeah, the bad ending. It's really cursed. I try not to think about it that much, but I can forget I made that ending. Man, now I really want to make a game. I'm probably gonna start working in next week in the next game. I said all that, but in the end, there's only one ending. You know, the real ending of all the stories, it's death. At the end, everyone dies. It doesn't matter what happens, everyone dies. Except Makoto Yuki from Persona 3. He becomes a door and never dies. But I think technically he's dead, right? Anyway, lovely talk, guys, and thank you so much for talking with me about games. I really appreciate it, and thank you for coming to this Christmas stream, so I wasn't lonely on Christmas. But sadly, I have to go and give gifts to the kids. So I'm gonna go in my reindeer thingy, and I'm gonna float on the sky, and I'm gonna give people the gift of despair or something like that. I don't know. So yeah, I'm gonna go have a Merry Christmas working. So thank you guys for coming to the Christmas stream. I really appreciate it. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever your celebration is. Uh, and all of that, right? I don't like to finish stream while we're still having a conversation, but my time is up. Again, thank you for watching. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. I don't know other things people celebrate. I don't know all the cultures. I'm sorry, I'm an uncultured swine. And I will see you guys hopefully in a few hours with maybe an indie game or something, and probably on the 26th or 28th for the 1000 video special Smash or Pass. Um, please have a Merry Christmas. I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas with snow and Santa and everything, right? I hope to be here next year, and hopefully there's a lot more people here next year, so we can have like a Christmas party or something. And I will try my best to give you a gift next year. So please stay tuned to the channel until next year. I will see you later, and Merry Christmas.